Okay, this is Leah. I am a life and relationship transition coach. My specialties are in communication skills enhancement, overcoming and processing relationship trauma, empowered personal development. And today I want to talk about a very interesting question that I actually get a lot. The question is, am I asking for too much? Or am I doing enough? Basically, the question, if I'm to boil it down, is one that is really asking, should I change what I'm expecting or should I change myself? And so I wanted to dive into this question because I get asked it so much. I think that oftentimes the people that ask me these questions are kind of outsiders. They have this tendency to maybe isolate themselves a little bit, maybe trying to figure out, why is it that I feel like an outsider? And oftentimes I think that the people that ask me these questions are also highly sensitive. Um, Typically, there's also an element of past trauma, um, whether that is as childhood trauma or even into adulthood. There's this feeling of deep sensitivity, and maybe people won't understand that level of deep sensitivity, so that isolating comes into play. But then there's these questions of, and I'm telling you, a little bit of a background on people who typically ask me this, because I find that it can help you to identify, like, is this you? Does this sort of apply to you? So if not, feel free to just switch the video. But oftentimes there's this feeling of like, if I don't fit in, like I think I should be fitting in, like it seems like everybody else is fitting in, then is there something about me? There's that idea of like, who, which one of these things don't belong? And then we kind of look at the one thing that doesn't belong instead of the entire system or the entire group. And not that there is a right or a wrong, but I wanted to talk to this specific person, if this is you, that feels like sort of that black sheep, whether it's in your friend group, in your family, in the world. Are you highly sensitive? Have you dealt with past trauma? Do you feel like you're too much or asking for too much from other people? Um, there's this idea of like just wanting to be understood, just wanting to be cared for, just wanting to have there be some inquiry and follow up from their support system or people in their life. And then those wants and needs that are very basic in nature that we all absolutely deserve is followed with, well, if no one can give that to me, does that mean I'm asking for too much? The answer is no. You're not asking for too much. You are not too much. You are the perfect amount of everything. Um, and you're not asking for too much either. You might be asking the wrong people. um, that's something to consider, is, are the people I'm asking capable of giving me what it is that I'm asking for? And if they're not, that's not, you know, necessarily a bad thing, but it's just something to acknowledge and to say, we all have a different capacity for what we can be and give. And we shouldn't all be constantly trying to change for one another. We should look at, what do I have the capacity for? What do those around me have the capacity for? And just allow everyone to be in that. There's also a piece of, are you enough for yourself? And there might be an inner narrative playing in your head that's more along the lines of, um, self berating, self deprecating. Maybe you're not willing to understand yourself. You're not willing to validate your own feelings. You're telling yourself that you're too much. Once that narrative changes, then everything else will more easily make sense. But that's the other side of the coin there, right? It's you might be asking the wrong people, and also, are you giving that to yourself? It shouldn't all fall on everyone else to be the emotional support that you need or to be the support that you need. There should be some self-supporting going on as well. But it doesn't have to be either or. It should be both. So I hope that makes sense. You are absolutely deserving of what you're asking for, and you need to also give that to yourself. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Okay. And then also to touch on this too, when you are somebody who is sort of that, more highly sensitive person, I think that looking at how can I actually tend to myself even better is really important. I know for a lot of people who feel misunderstood, there is, there's more space for feeling to exist within them, if that makes sense. Let me reword that because I don't know if it makes sense to me either. When you have been stretched by some kind of stressor or some kind of past experience, the amount of feeling that you can have around certain things can be greater. So I think that stress has the ability to expand us, and our experiences have the ability to expand us. And the more experienced we are, and the more potential like past stress or trauma that we've experienced, the more capacity we have to feel things. Um, that doesn't mean that you feel too much. It means that you just simply feel more. You feel more deeply, you feel more widely, and that's something to be celebrated. And I think the right people will know how to celebrate you in that. And the people that don't know how to do that, don't know how to feel into that expansion, will shame you or tell you that you're asking for too much. So this is not a time to shrink. This is a time to just gauge what everyone around you is capable of feeling with you or experiencing with you or supporting you in. Um, this question is asked so often that my response is always, I will never tell you that you're asking for too much, because I won't, because I just don't believe in that. I will never ask you that you are too much or that you're not enough, because you're not. And I would never say that. There are things or actions that you might want to change in your life that will help you to feel more of yourself, or like be more of yourself, be that version of yourself that you really want to be. But to change for other people is a slippery slope, and it's exhaustive. It's not going to get you anywhere that feels good at the end of the day. So I hope this was helpful. Can you relate to this type of person, or are you this type of person? Did this, did being this type of person help you in some way to maybe play a different role within your support systems? Like, are you the person that everyone turns to when they need support? That's typically what I find too. Are you the person who likes to always have deep conversations with people? And so maybe when people are trying to keep it light, they don't necessarily turn to you. Or when they're actually in need, you're the first person they come to. Let me know how this lands for you. I'm really curious and interested, and I'd love to actually start a community of people who can relate to this message. I'm going to include a link in the description below of a community membership that I'm opening up. This community will consist of more tools, resources. There'll be live coaching. There'll also be some hypnosis recordings and meditations. We'll be able to share different songs, books, podcasts with each other to all just help each one of us grow in our own ways together. So if you're interested in that, I'd love to see you there. You have 2 weeks of a free trial to try it out, and can cancel at any time. Otherwise, take good care. Bye.